All right, class. So I was able to get through all the discussion board one initial post grades, along with your responses and participation. The grades are listed and feedback is provided. The video feedback that only you, the author of the assignment, can view. First, I want to apologize on the delay of getting that out to you guys. I had intentions on getting this out to everybody last week, but uh, my wife actually went into labor, and between that and the hurricane coming up on Wednesday, I got significantly delayed on that. So I'll talk about that again here in a moment because I'm going to do something for discussion board two for you guys because my intention was to get the feedback out before you guys started posting discussion board one, or excuse me, discussion board two, so that you can make those corrections. But I'll talk about that more here in a moment. So what I want to do in this video here, I just want to kind of go over some themes that I saw from discussion board one. So one thing I want to just talk about format wise. So here in the instructions, in the first thing here, I say treat your initial post as if it was an essay. And so some of you all, in your initial posts, you were defining each purpose of correction and providing an example in a bullet format. Just go ahead and write it out into a paragraph. Create a narrative, because think about each discussion board is going to be very much like you're telling a story. I mean, here you're going to tell me what the four purposes of corrections are. You're going to define each one. You're going to provide your theory of crime, and then based on that, you're going to tell me what purpose of correction would best fit your purpose of or best fit your theory of crime. So again, when you do it in bullet points, it's kind of taken away from that essay format. So one of the things that I saw is that many of you are not citing or referencing your work. And this is something that is costing many of you a lot of points. A lot of you did a good job. It seemed like you have good comprehension of the content, but when you don't cite or reference your work, it's not, it is something that is going to cost you points. In addition to that, your primary source for this should be your textbook. So I should at least be seeing that you're citing some information from your textbook. So what I want to do here is I want to pull up this Word document here. I'm actually going to post this in Blackboard for you to view. But basically what this is a picture from the textbook that covers the purposes of corrections. That first portion talks about incapacitation, deterrence, and retribution, and then on the following page, it covers rehabilitation. So how this should look when you read this, when you read these pages here, you are gaining an understanding from the author that the four purposes of corrections are incapacitation, deterrence, retribution, and rehabilitation. This is a notion you're getting from your textbook. This is an idea that you're getting from your textbook. So this is not something that you are generating originally from your own thoughts or beliefs. And so if you start off your essay with saying the four purposes of corrections are incapacitation, deterrence, retribution, and rehabilitation, you should provide an in-text citation. And that looks like this simply here. There's two ways you can do it. You can add the citation within the sentence, or you can add it at the end in parentheses. So again, if you were starting off the post, you might say, according to Crisberg, Marchiona, and Hartney, 2018, the four purposes of corrections are deterrence, retribution, incapacitation, and rehabilitation. Again, you could do this in a different format by just stating what those four purposes are and then adding the citation at the end. Now, these are examples of your in-text citations. Now, your reference list would be down here. which would be Chrisberg, Marciana, and Hartney, 2018, the name of your textbook, second edition, Sage Publishing, Los Angeles, California. Now, again, I'm not looking for perfect APA format on this, only that it is there. And so when you're reading something, the purpose of the in-text citations are to show within your writing where you use this particular resource. So let's say you listed two more resources, maybe a news article or a journal article. Those should also have in-text citations because it's going to tell me what sentences you are, or what thoughts and ideas in your writing that you're actually getting from that source. This is something, again, not having your textbook and not citing or referencing was costing some of you all 20 points off your grade. And even though you hit on the topic perfectly, displayed good comprehension of the content, not having this significantly impacted your grade. So this is something that you should correct moving forward. The other thing I want to just talk about specifically on this topic here is that some of you guys kept using the term punishment when you're discussing the purposes of corrections. One goal I want to have for you all is to move away from using punishment and use the term corrections. The reason for that is we often do take a punitive approach. So I understand why we use punishment often. But if you think about the four purposes of corrections, only one of these really engulfs the idea of punishment, and that is retribution. Because punishment, you're getting back at somebody, right? Somebody did something wrong, you're going to punish them for doing something wrong. Incapacitation is the idea of preventing other people from getting harmed through by removing an individual from the general population or society. Deterrence is preventing future crimes from happening. And then rehabilitation is the idea of providing resources to individuals to help, change behavior. So, for example, if somebody has anger problems, anger management would be a way to rehabilitate. All of those three are about correcting behavior or preventing behavior. Retribution, which is best kind of understood as an eye for an eye, is really the only one that represents that punitive measure. So that's just one note I want you guys to have as you move forward. Other than that, really good job. The last thing I want to just talk about with the discussion board assignments is your responses. Many of you lost points for not posting at least 5 responses. And then some of you all lost points for posting all of your responses either on the same day or on the very last day. Remember, the purpose of this is to engage in a conversation. What I'm looking for you to do is actually have a back and forth conversation with each other. And then once, so if you're posting everything in one day and not coming back in and revisiting, then you're really not having a conversation, especially if what you're posting is on the very last day. Because so discussion board 1 closed on August 31st. If you posted all of your responses on August 31st, it is really unlikely that any of your classmates went back in and read what you wrote. And then even if they did, it was even more unlikely that you had time to go back in and respond to what your classmates wrote. So the biggest thing here is just engagement. There were students in the class that earned 115 points on their responses because they posted citations, they used citations and references, and they were highly engaged. Take advantage of the extra credit opportunity. The biggest thing I can just say is just don't wait till the last minute to do these discussion board assignments because when you do, you rush through it, and you might be missing some opportunities to earn extra credit. Okay, so just real quick, we are in module 4 right now. So what you should be working on is your discussion board 2 responses and participation. These are going to be due on September 12th. So 4 days to wrap up module 4. So a couple things on this. So what I've done is because I was late getting back the feedback for you all in on discussion board one, um, I've I've set the settings for discussion board two so that you can actually go back in and edit your initial post. So if you want to go back, if you didn't include in-text citations or a reference list with your initial post, and you want to go back and include that information, uh, you can go back and do it. You can go back and edit your initial post. The other thing that I'll do on this as well, because I was late getting you guys feedback on discussion board one, uh, for your initial post for discussion board two, I will not be taking off points for getting your initial post in on time. So your initial post for discussion board two was due September 6th. If you did not make that date, I will not take off points for that. Just keep in mind that you do still need to post 5 responses by the 12th, so you just don't want to wait until the 12th to do that. So I'm hoping the feedback will be helpful. If you have any questions on that, just please let me know.